Eddie the Chump coming back for another video. Just a quick intro here to this video. The gameplay obviously is kill confirmed on Lockdown, or as my friends call it, Corridor, because it all revolves around that one corridor. It's a sniper gameplay with the MSR. I do okay, I get about a 4KD. It's nothing Zagrizzy, so you know, don't troll me in the comments saying that I'm a rubbish sniper. I'm not that great, but I enjoy doing it, so whatever, I don't really care. Yeah, at the beginning of this video I'm going to break down what I'm thinking of doing for my series ideas, because every commentator's got to have his own angle. You see, I can't just do things that people have done before, but I've got some ideas, and I'm going to go through them now quickly before I start the episode. The first series that I'm going to do, I'm probably going to try and do sort of like a real-world story. So because the YouTube community is spread across England, Europe, America, I'm not going to do anything so specific as something in, say, the British news or something specifically in the American news. I'll probably try and do a world news story or something like that and do some research and get some old-fashioned journalism on the go. Just something that I can talk over and you guys can watch a gameplay and find out about something that's interesting. Hopefully that'll be a good idea. The second sort of series, so I'm going to talk about... Oh, that guy got wallbanged there like a motherfucker. Yeah, sorry, where was I? Yes, so the second series is going to be about me, actually, without being too narcissistic and trying to sound like a child. You know, I don't want to just make a series all about me, but you guys aren't going to get to know me unless I go through what's happened to me in my life, why I do what I do for a living, all those kind of things. So hopefully that'll be interesting. I think I'm relatively interesting. I'm not the most boring person in the world. And the third type of episode is I'm going to try and fit some comedy in there. Me and my friends, we joke about all the time, and I've recently acquired a Canon 5D, so we're going to try and film some sort of comedy skits. Now, whether those actually come to fruition is another matter, but we've got a couple plans, so look out for those on my channel. So I'm going to try and upload about 3 episodes a week, maybe, you know, the Real World and the Real Me series, and then maybe just a third miscellaneous gameplay, just talking about some random stuff, or the comedy skits. That's probably what's going to happen. So, right, let's move this episode on a little bit now. I'm going to talk a little bit about me as a youngster, where I grew up, so you guys can get a good backstory. I'm from a town called Brighton, which is on the south coast of England. The first school I ever went to is a school called Davigdor School. It's still there. Brighton is actually kind of a strange town because it's kind of split in two. There's the Brighton main town, and then there's a section of it called Hove, which actually used to be a separate town. But now it's Brighton and Hove, the city. It's all a bit confusing how it works in Britain. But the school that I went to is actually in Hove, and I grew up around that area. And if you've never been there, it's kind of... It is a town, but it's Brighton used to be, in Victorian times... That's pre-20th century. It used to be sort of a resort town for rich Londoners. So all the houses are very tall, you've got lots of rooms, it's quite palatial. It's a really nice place, to be perfectly honest. But in the 70s, it went through a bit of a doldrums. So it became a haunt for sort of loads of deadbeats and artist types, which of course included my parents, who I'm very grateful for, because I grew up in quite a beautiful place, actually. It's in the county of Sussex, East Sussex to be exact. Growing up there was really good fun. There's loads of parks. One in particular I grew up in, St Answell's Park's my absolute favourite. So yeah, that's where I spent most of my childhood. Unfortunately, I don't speak to many of my childhood friends. It's odd. When you get to sort of my age, I'm 29, in case you didn't know, you realise more and more that the people that you grew up with, you see less and less, and it's just one of those unavoidable things that happens with life, unfortunately. You know, growing up, I was a normal kid. I was into sports, really into sport, actually. I'm a supporter of a soccer team or football team, Brighton and Hove Albion. In this country, it's kind of illegal for you to support a football team of the town that you weren't born in, and anyone who does is sort of seen as shameful. So if I said I supported any sort of big football team or soccer team to you Americans, it's not soccer, by the way. I just thought I'd point that out to you. It's football, your game of football. You don't even touch with your feet, really. Only one player kicks the ball, and you call it football. That's ridiculous. I'm sure you've heard this before, but to English people, that makes no sense whatsoever. So anyway, Brighton Hove Albion, as a kid, played football in Up until the age of 9, I actually played for Brighton Hove Albion. I played in their academy side as a goalkeeper, which is quite funny because now I'm an adult. I'm only 5'9", so I wouldn't have been a very good goalkeeper. But up until age 9, I was part of the club's youth system, which is an interesting fact that I completely forgotten about. I should have written that into my notes actually, but never mind. So yeah, as a normal kid growing up playing sports, football and cricket. If you don't know what cricket is, Americans, look it up. It's a hilarious sport where you just chuck balls at each other. Well, that sounded more rude than it actually was, but you basically one person throw. It's like our version of baseball, except it's more English. So it happens in a big field. There's alcohol consumed, it's a summer activity. It's completely ridiculous but quite a lot of fun. So as a kid, obviously I wasn't drinking the alcohol at that point, but I was playing cricket when I grew up. So yeah, just a normal kid really. All the design and computer games and stuff like that, that all started later. Oh, I will talk about the very first computer game system I ever had. The first one I ever had, like properly owned, was a SNES. Now, anyone who's my age, or maybe a little younger, will understand what a SNES is. I'm sure loads of you who are younger don't know, or, you know, it's from so many generations ago now. A SNES made by Nintendo. It's a 16-bit, God, can you believe it, 16-bit? A 16-bit system that was cartridge-based. And the first one that I owned, it was actually out. When it first came out, it was out at the same time as the NES. Can you believe that? I'm actually that old. How depressing is that? And my parents bought me a SNES for Christmas as a secret present for me. And I've never, ever been so happy in all my life. Because I had said that Christmas that I wanted a NES. Because I'd never... Actually, the first one that I owned is a Game Boy, but that doesn't really count. It's not really a console. So yeah, they bought it for me. And I didn't know I was getting it until Christmas morning. And I cannot tell you how happy I was. Anyway, this is the end of the video. I shall continue it in another one. Hope you enjoyed it.